Yeah, I mean, I don't know that Mike changes anything. He's not, he doesn't get fazed by the moment. He's always in the moment, and I don't think, and I think when players the game slows down for somebody, I think it really is advantageous. And he just, I would love to have a heart monitor on him. I don't think his pulse was any different then than any other time. And again, I was, everybody's talking about how clutch he was. I couldn't believe he missed a free throw in the clutch, because, that was one thing Coach Couch said to me when we sat down. He said, "This kid's tough enough to make them both," and we expected him to make them both. But he's done that all year for us, and he's just been again a great addition. Not just everything you see offensively, but for a freshman, he really is solid defensively.
He's clearly gotten more confident as the season's gone on too. Have you seen his play change?
Well, any freshman is going to gain confidence as they get experience. I mean, even for him, the game was pretty fast to begin with. As he said, there's 7-foot guys in there. When you're playing Kansas and North Carolina that run like guards, and he had 2 turnovers today that, again, you don't expect him to do, because he's a baller, and that's the only way I can explain him. He understands the game. It comes easy to him. He was born to play basketball, and he has a great feel for the game.
Coach, I know that you expect Cal Poly to be one of the teams that battles all year. With that said, is it safe to say you weren't surprised at how tough they made it on you tonight?
No. We told them all along this was going to be a mental toughness game, and and they're going to frustrate you. And they're going to frustrate you so bad you're going to go miss a free throw that you should never miss because you're frustrated. You've got to get back and stay in the present and make the next play. And I was pleased because it was at their tempo. It was going to be, as soon as we fell down 9-4, there's no way they weren't going to dictate the tempo. They're a team that if they can get up on you, it's going to be like that all game. If you can get out a little bit and extend out, then they got to play at your pace, and it becomes a whole different game. But they came out more ready than us, and we're tougher than we were the first 5-6 minutes, and that made it a dogfight the rest of the way.
Were you impressed or encouraged by the way your half-court offense was? It hasn't always been a strong suit this season, but against a tough defense like that, were you happy with the movement and the good shots?
Well, I didn't. I thought our guys really made a concerted effort not to settle. I mean, Casper got frustrated and took a couple that were too tough. But I thought our bigs really, everybody talked to Mike Cavan, T.J. Robinson was a man today, okay? T.J. Robinson had the activity, he really, I thought, had one of his better games. 13 points and 13 rebounds in a 50-point game is a monster game. There's not that many rebounds, there's not that many points out there. So I thought he was crucial, and he was the one guy that we did get into an offensive flow, and was able to make a jump shot and everything. He and Kathy were the only 2. But the other kids, again, it's hard to get into a flow when you only get a couple shots and a couple cracks at it, and the possessions are that light. And yet, our guys played like seniors, and they made the last 4 free throws when they needed to, and got the stops when they needed to. And we know we're not going to go through this league without people getting their best shot, and we took it and survived, and we're going to move on. We got on to the next game tomorrow.
What about Northridge, Coach? Any thoughts on them?
I think, again, they're like Irvine. They're very dangerous. If you don't dictate their shots and they're making shots, they can beat anybody. And so, we're not going to watch a second of this. This game's over. It doesn't have any relevance on a different style of play and a different team. So tomorrow we're going to prepare for Northridge and try to get them off their feet and go and 2 road games in the week and try to survive. Because we know we're going to get their best shot too. We did last year in there, and we're lucky to get out of there last year.
Can I go back to Mike Caffey for a second? Is he ahead of where you would have anticipated this time? I mean, are you surprised at the level of contribution he's making already?
Well, I always, since the first day I ever watched Mike Caffey, I was a Mike Caffey fan. And when we signed him, I told people nobody has any idea how good that kid's going to be, because he was under the radar because of his recruiting situation. He was taking summer school classes, and on his national AAU team, a high-profile Compton Magic, he wasn't able to go to practices because he was going to school. So when he played in tournaments, he played spot minutes. But I watched him that whole summer, because we had seen him throughout the season, and we knew with his high school team how good he was, and we were just hoping they wouldn't keep playing him, and wouldn't keep playing him. But when he got in that whole summer, he never had a turnover, and I just said, he's perfect complement for what we have, because he doesn't need to score to help you win a basketball game. He did today, but he's helped us win a couple where it's just his feel for the game, just his assists. He was the only guy today that could get us in the break, because he's the only guy that would get off the ball and pitch it ahead. And if you just you're not going to out-dribble them. They're too good at getting back, and they're too good defensively. And he was the only guy that would pass it ahead. And if you go back, I bet you if we had 6 fast break baskets, 5 of them were because he got the ball ahead.
One more, guys.
Dan, can you comment? I know you just made a comment about the free throws. You missed 10 free throws today. Obviously, that's frustrating. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, you know what? Free throws are one of those just mental things. We've been, we were shooting 70% when we went to break, and now we have shooting. We shoot at night, for an hour, and we shoot free throws. We're shooting probably 50 to 100 more free throws a day than we were 2 weeks ago, and we're shooting them, way worse. So it's not a repetition thing. It becomes a mental thing, and again, it can go the other direction. I always say that everything in basketball is contagious. They see 1 or 2 shots go in, and everybody can make a shot. They miss 1 or 2 free throws, and everybody's got to miss a free throw. And again, I think as a coach, you have to be careful of it's not like they're trying to miss them, and you have to just kind of let it go, and hopefully you can play through it. And to win a basketball game when you shoot 60% from the line, we're going to take it and move on, and hopefully we can keep winning until they get comfortable up there. You could tell like Gene was not comfortable up there. You could tell Casper, who's an 80% free throw shooter for the year, was not comfortable up there. But when it was time to draw up an out of bounds, when they're going to foul, thought about the freshman. But Casper Ware, is the guy you're going to put your money on. He went and made him. So,
Thanks.
Thanks.